got one more. We got one more. Bring that in. Bring that in. Oh yeah, you feel that? You feel that? You feel that? The levels is good. The levels is good. The levels is good. Let's get it popping.
Okay. Big man, you wanna hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Hey, dígame. Give me on one, man. I got these 3 drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like and you subscribe. Listen, like, and subscribe, yeah. You know how to call into the show? Yeah, man. Do the podbean app. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a tape faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only 3 things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody. MyT Sports Season 7.
And welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I knew I forgot one. It is another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. I am your host once again, the one and only Talented Taylor. Yo, it is October 25th. I swear highs earlier today was like 97 degrees already. It was hot as fuck today. Alright, I don't even know what the lows were. I can just tell you what the highs felt like. And that was early as shit in the morning, right? But boy, we got a big show, right? We just came off of the weekend. We got the NFL that just popped off for this week 7. We got Monday Night Football going on in a couple minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna have that on, or if I'm gonna keep this Brooklyn game on, or throw on this Charlotte game, or throw on whatever kind of basketball is out there. Because if you guys don't know, you better holler at your boy. You know how much I love me some motherfucking basketball. You see it. You see it. Don't act like I'm tripping. It's right there for you. Right there for you. Playoffs. Knicks, baby. You know what I'm saying. But before we even get close to the New York Knicks making the playoffs, let's get into a couple of things that's been happening recently. We got the G League draft to get into, right? We got Curry's hot night, right? We got the Knicks' horrific loss. We got the Lakers. They got beef within themselves. They beefing with everybody. We got Melo leveling up. We got Harden declining his option. We got Smoking Joe Burrow lighting up the joint. We got Gerald Green's art. We're going to talk about that shit. We got Blue Chew. We got birthdays. We may have my 2 co-hosts. We'll see what happens. I got Staples already in the building. We have all that and more for you today. But you guys already know how we do this here. How we do that there. Regardless of the time.
Take that.
And regardless of the weather,
you play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time to talk some sports. Let's stir this motherfucker up. Where's my drink? I don't got a drink today. Let's just stir this shit up anyway. So, let's start talking. Woo! Back at it like a sports fanatic. MyT Sports. Man, it's always a to see you guys again. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I know I enjoyed. I can't really say I fully enjoyed my weekend. Actually, I can't say that at all. There were a couple of things that happened that ended up happening since the last time that we spoke that really didn't go quite how we expected it to go when we first spoke. So nah, I'm not completely happy, B. I'm not complete. I didn't have the best of weekends. It could have gone a little better. It could have gone better. I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. But we'll go ahead and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about all that shit. But you know how we like to start off the podcast with? Let's go ahead and start off the podcast with our birthday shout-outs and get those out of the way. Hey, yo, DJ MyT, play that birthday beat for me. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. I think this is ready. Yeah, it's your birthday. You said it's your birthday. Check it, yeah. Because it's your birthday, we sing happy birthday. Check it, yeah. Check it. I keep telling you October's kind of slow, but you know what? You know what though? October could be as slow as it wants because I can take the slowness for the amount of important people that have a birthday in October for me, right? So I'll take the slowness. Basically, I'll take the quantity over the quality for this month, right? Let's go ahead and get some of these birthdays out of the way. We got some special birthdays hopping out here, right? I want to say happy birthday to Dr. Javay Harris, right? As you guys, oh man, I haven't spoken to Javay in fact. Actually, I just spoke to Javay. What am I saying? I'm lying over here. I'm lying. I just spoke to Jade Avalanche. I had to make sure I actually wished her a happy birthday. Javay happens to be a good friend, the daughter of a good friend of mine. Basically, I'm like her uncle, you know what I mean? In that kind of sense. So super duper proud of her. Like she's been traveling, like she's been going all over the country, doing what the fuck that she does. You know what I mean? Getting her business in, getting her doctorates in, and making sure that she continues to leave her little staple and stamp on the world. You know, it's funny because as I'm wishing happy birthday to Javay, and I happen to be watching the first quarter of that Golden State versus Clippers game. For those that are OGs of the podcast. Now you may start recognizing the name Dr. Javay Harris. You know what I mean. You know, my niece happened to be tied into a very prominent NBA star from the moment he was on his original team. So I want to say happy birthday to Dr. Javay Harris, right? Also want to say happy birthday to my homeboy Darnell Natel, right? I gotta say happy birthday to that's one of my brothers, one of my aces, one of my ace, right? Like one of my top dog dollar shops, you know what I mean? Like all day long, one of my brothers, me and Mano, for real, right? I met the brethren when I came out the army, and almost was like day one, no stress, instant friendship. Like that's how guys work, right? That's how guys work. Where we put up. Most part, we do shit very simply. As I just came back into this Boston and Charlotte game, they scored 68-66. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to see this game and see how things was working. I wanted to see how LaMelo Ball is balling, to be honest with you. I know Jason Tatum, he's out here going off. I think he had like 25 or 29 points going on in the first half already. We'll keep an eye on this game, and we'll keep switching it up. Right? Also, today I want to say happy birthday to my battle buddy, Claudia. Right? Battle buddy Claudia also happened to have the birthday, right? Met Claudia in North Carolina, got reunited with her in Indiana. It was because of her on how I met Javay and Javay's mother. They were next door neighbors, or they lived across the street from each other. How crazy is that? And now we're as tight as family. But talking about somebody that's also really tight as family, I want to say happy birthday to Monica Mejia, right? Monica Mejia, like yo, that's sis. You hear me talk about Brew Crew Lou, what to do, my brother, my brother Louis Mejia. But it's a sis all day long. Yo, we've been fucking with each other since we were 12. Non-stop. Vibe is strong. Vibe is real. Like no lies and all ties. We don't have to worry about the bullshit. Want to say happy birthday? All four of them had a birthday on the 22nd. Right? No birthdays on the 21st. And I had to go all the way back to the 22nd because we didn't have a podcast on Friday the 22nd. So we going all the way back to Thursday, but I ain't have nothing for Thursday. We got these for the 22nd. We got nothing for the 23rd. But we got a couple for yesterday, folks. We got nothing for today. But yesterday, I want to say happy birthday to Kaylin Dara. Kaylin Dara happens to be the sister of one of my exes. You know what I mean? So I want to say happy birthday to you. She always likes to hit me up very randomly and try to figure out when me and her sister is getting back together. I'm currently very happily in a relationship right now, and I'm not going anywhere because I fear for my life, okay? Listen, I am perfectly happy where I'm at, and nothing needs to change. Alright? Alright. Now that we got that out of the way, also, damn man, you ain't make the cut for the music. No, you got to run that shit back. Run that shit back. There we go. I got the vape working over here. That's how you know when you're running out of weed. When I'm like, yo, you know what? Whatever weed I can scrape up now, dump it in the vape. Check it. One more birthday. I didn't say happy birthday to my homeboy Matthew Rupp. I remember one point in time he was a school teacher, so I do remember that about him. I think he was a school teacher for a private school. I have no clue which school he was teaching for, but I do remember him being a school teacher at one point in time. That's something around that nature. And then meeting Matthew Rupp through homeboy Lewis as well too. One of the many friends and one of the many individuals that ended up passing through our circle. So I want to say happy birthday to all of us, to Gervais, to Darnell, to Monica, and to Claudia, and to Kayleen, and to Matt. To all of you, I wish you all a happy birthday. I hope you party hard. Hope you enjoy everything. Hope you regret nothing. And we hope you continue to stay MyT. Check it. Yeah, check it. Okay, DJ MyT, go ahead and now officially cut that beat. No, whoa, wait, before we do that, you guys, just doing the podcast, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to like and subscribe to everything, like, share, and subscribe to everything that we have. You can find us on the many platforms. If you are currently listening, right, then in every single bio, there should be a link to my Linktree account, and what my Linktree account does, it gives you a link to everything that I have from my website, to the YouTube page, to the Twitch page, to even to the podbean, where you can call into the podcast. So the Linktree takes you everywhere. It connects you to everything MyT. It is the Linktree that's gonna give you the source to everything MyT. All you gotta do is go to Linktree/MyT Sports Podcast, and it'll pull it up. But like I said, that link is in the bio everywhere. And trust me when I tell you, the MyT Sports Podcast is everywhere that you listen to the podcast at. But easiest way, right? Easiest way, just tell your smart speaker, hey yo, smart speaker, play this latest episode of the MyT Sports Podcast. You gotta spell it out for the smart speaker. It ain't gonna recognize MyT. But tell it MyT Sports Podcast and we'll go ahead and play. If you want to watch these videos, say you want to watch the latest video of the MyT Sports Podcast. Bada bing, bada boom. MyT Sports Podcast is going to be in your room. How you doing? There we go. Now, DJ MyT, you may officially cut that beat, but you know we ain't going too far with it. I'm going to need your services pretty soon, because we're going to get into our first topic today. And man, am I so happy that this finally gets to come back in full capacity? I am elated. I am full of joy. I am happy. I am jolly. I am gay. Like that. The fact that I can start off the podcast once again with yes. You know we got that Knicks talk. You know we stay with that Knicks talk. Holla at your boy. Yo, New York was going crazy, B. When I say crazy, New York was going absolute crazy after these last couple of victories. And let me tell you something, right? They weren't the only ones going a little bit crazy, right? I must admit, I was catching the vibe myself. The New York Knicks, they went into a double overtime for game 1 to beat Boston, right? Fuck them bean pots. I'm telling you what I'm about to tell you. That though that after the W in Boston, that the Knicks came out and they played in Orlando, and they completely decimated them. When I say decimated them, I mean they completely put them through the ringer, blew them out by like 22 points, and that folks had the fucking New York crowd, the New York faithfuls, had NYU going crazy. Hold on, whoa. We ain't ready yet, folks. They had the students of NYU going straight bananas. BANANAS. And I can't blame them, B. I can't blame them for shit. Actually, you know what? Let's try to get this up here for you guys, right? Because I just don't want to show you guys, right? I mean, I just don't want to like tell you guys. I have you guys hear it. But I want to as well show you guys if I can. Let's see if I can find this motherfucker. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, folks. Oh yeah. We taking over, folks. I want you to go ahead and feast your eyes on the screen as we show you what I'm talking about here. And for those out that can't watch it, that isn't watching any of the videos, then I want you guys to just go ahead and listen. The New York faithfuls were going crazy. They were going bananas, folks. And I'm telling you, I can't give it enough justice. But what I can say is that the way that they're acting fully embodies my inner Nick. Let's go ahead and get that shit up here.
Double fucking overtime! What the fuck, baby? New York is fucking back!
Knicks are here, baby! The Knicks are fucking here, baby!
Fresh out the corner, baby! We're taking it all the way!
We have De Blasio, we have Cuomo, it was rough shit, but we have the Knicks! I'm New York Knicks from New York City!
Bing bang! Tell me this, KD, don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
Real talk, I'm from New York, and you know what? Tom Brady's a fucking bitch! Fuck Tom Brady, yo! Fuck Tom Brady!
With a bread at Tom Brady, I need some bread, nigga, he owes me.
Fuck Boston! Yo, you thought Trae Young was still good? He still ain't good at Dyke, man. You smoking on that Boston pack tonight, you heard?
Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Double fucking...
Yo, that's the New York crowd, B. That's the fucking New York crowd for you right now as it currently stands. Right? And that's before. I'm sorry. Like, I misspoke though. That's before. That's before they dismantled Orlando. That's before they took them through the ringer. That's before they had them shitting themselves. What a game. What a game. What a performance. But it didn't last long. That euphoric feeling, and I'm telling you, I was on cloud 9 for like 2 days. Like, even my girl noticed. Like, she was like, "Oh my God, like the Knicks need to win more often. You have been in such a great mood." And if you know what I mean, like, I was in a really good mood. And I'm like, listen here, baby. If the Knicks are winning, then I'm happy. And that's all that matters. Like, I'm not really emotionally invested into the Jets. I'm not trying to let them ruin my day. I'm not emotionally invested into the Giants right now. I'm not trying to let them ruin my day. Baseball season is over. Like nobody's even playing right now, to be honest with you. I don't even like that shit is officially over. I think they already crowned the champions. I think it was the Yankees or some shit. Right? But the Knicks, though. The Knicks. Fight right now as it currently stands. And I've been like this for a while. I am fully vested into the Knicks. And they, as the time goes on, they will be responsible for my moods. I'm sorry, baby. I don't mean to do it. But it's just how things work out. Like, I said, I can't help it. Like, I'm just part of the system. And I can't help that I'm a Knicks fan anymore. Like, I really can't. Like, that shit is contagious. But the New York Knicks had a great game. Great game too. Everything that they wanted to do, they were able to get their way. One of the biggest factors that came into that game was their 3-point shooting. I think they ended up taking somewhere close to like 50 3-pointers in that game, and they hit a high percentage of that. Now, a decently coached team, a well-coached team, a team that has some kind of pride, won't let you do that twice in a row, and that's kind of what happened. We had a home and away against the Orlando Magic, where we played them in Orlando, and it was going to turn right around and play them in New York. And that game in New York didn't turn out the way the first one did. The Orlando Magic ended up realizing that not only did they came out with a lot more intensity because they did not want to be embarrassed twice, right? And they definitely wanted to save face. But look at this little Knicks bracelet my niece made me, right? That shit's dope, right? She's selling them shits. I'll let your boy. I get you one. What's going on, SB? Welcome to the podcast. Leasing sports and that's for my Maple Leaf fans to a Knicks fan. Yo, I'm talking Knicks right now. I'm talking Knicks right now. What's going on, SB? Welcome to the Mighty Sports Podcast. How you doing today, B? How was your weekend?
My weekend was alright. Tough night to be a Leaf fan. Tough weekend to be a Leaf fan.
You got some hockey news for us? You got some hockey updates? What's going on with your Leafs?
We played Pittsburgh Saturday night, national television across Canada. Pittsburgh was missing 5 of probably their top 7 or 8 players, like their entire top power play was out due to injuries and COVID restrictions and just different things. We lost 7-1. I'll say it again, 7-1.
That's a blowout.
We're in Carolina tonight to play the Hurricanes, and you would expect a team that just got embarrassed on national television in Canada to come out with maybe a little bit of spark, a little bit of jump, a little bit of the doubters wrong, a little bit of anger. Maybe come out, hit somebody, fight somebody, punch somebody in the mouth, and just no fight at all. The shots are 19-8. We're about halfway through the game. We're down 2-1. This team is getting to the point of apathy for me, and I don't care anymore. And I feel like as a Knicks fan, you might be the best guy to ask. Like, how did you? Was there a time you just didn't care anymore, and then just had to not let it affect your life?
When it came to the Knicks, no. I was. See, and okay. And the funny thing, I was just kind of talking about that. I just kind of alluded to it very loosely. When it came to the Knicks, no, I couldn't not let it affect me because even when I knew the Knicks were having bad years, and I told myself that you know what, because I watch it all. Like there's some Knicks fans where they see, like there's some Knicks fans that they couldn't watch during the 10 years the Knicks were bad or however long. They only could watch maybe one quarter, and then as soon as they saw that it got away from them, they stopped watching. They turned something else on. Not me. I suffered through all 48 minutes. I seen the Knicks play like they had bipolar disease, where the team that came in the first quarter was not the team in the second quarter, and that team wasn't even the same one in the third quarter, and definitely wasn't the same team in the fourth quarter. It was 4 different personalities. And it rubbed off on me, and it gave me 4 different personalities. I feel like I'm the 7 dwarfs right now. I got happy, sleepy, grumpy, snorty, busy, all of that shit in me because of the Knicks. And as much as
after the first quarter, you call your brother telling you love him, and then the second quarter,
yeah, exactly.
You're raging on Twitter talking about.
Yeah, you feel like an alcoholic going through like somebody that's drunk that night, going like I'm happy 1 minute, next thing you know I'm sad. All of a sudden I'm raging. Next thing you know I'm tired. At the end of it, regardless of what happens, I'm throwing up. That was my Knicks experience. I wasn't even talking about drinking anymore.
I went from happy to angry to grumpy to sleepy to queasy.
Exactly. And so regardless of how I told myself I wouldn't let it affect me as a Knicks fan, I couldn't stop it. After every game when they were horrible, I was in a horrible mode. Even I remember these are the years when Knicks were winning like 17 games, 22 games. Like it was rough. And it still affected me. I had to find other things to be able to get me through it. I ain't gonna lie, this podcast was very therapeutic during those times. It really helped me get through those summer because I had somewhere Warriors are gonna take out the NBA this year. Been saying it all year. Okay, Peter Smith. I'm mad Peter Smith left so soon. I would have liked him to call up because the Blue Chew Get In hotline is officially open to everybody that would like to call into the podcast. So if you guys are listening, we gotta wait first for you guys to call. And that's how SB just hopped in here. He just hopped on the Blue Chew hotline. Next thing you know, he got up he got up instantly. So
I'm a Raptors fan as much as I'm a Leaf fan. But last year we knew the Raptors were going to be bad. They were. This year I'm expecting the Raptors to be bad. But there's hope for the future, and we just want to chip. So it's like, okay, I can take a couple of years. So
let me ask you this, SB. Because as I'm going through all of the scenarios for a particular player. I'm running through the teams, I'm running through the money, I'm running to the teams. And I came to a certain team. And I was like, you know what? I think this player may actually fit in with this team. May, but at least money-wise, I knew it fit, right? So I was looking at it. I'm saying to myself, okay, what if, and I'm asking you because right now you are my resident. You are the advocate for all things Raptors right now, right?
Always will be, always have.
Right. Would you take Ben Simmons for Pascal Siakam?
Straight up, 1 for 1.
For the most part, because the money matches. Now I'm pretty sure there's gonna be other pieces that are gonna be played into some other ancillary pieces that's gonna be played into it, but money wise, they match. And to be honest with you, if I was Philly, I know I want more, but that may be one of the best 1-for-1s you can probably get.
I'll tell you, if there's no draft capital involved and there's no Scotty Barnes involved, I would do that deal.
Would you take it for draft swaps?
No.
No. So nothing that involved drafts, whether they're swaps or you're giving up picks.
If I'm doing that, it's 1 for 1.
Okay.
Because I'm here and I'm a Raptors fan through and through, but the Siakam max contract seemed to me as a Raptors fan, even at the time, as an overreaction to Kawhi leaving. It was like, we appease the fan base. We're gonna show them, hey, Kawhi left, but we got Pascal. And I think Pascal's a great player, but I don't think Pascal is a max contract, build your franchise around player.
Okay. So you just brought his value down. So you're gonna have to give up more pieces now. You did that. My advocate for all things Raptors, you just brought down his own. Damn it!
What is Ben Simmons trade value right now? Who's getting something better than that for Ben Simmons?
You just told me that, you know what? We're gonna have to add like another player and maybe like another piece in there. And granted, that means that Philly's gonna have to give up another player, which means that, so you're gonna have to swap a couple more players and maybe a pick somewhere to appease to something. But
I didn't realize this was the Daryl Morey Sports Podcast.
Now, forget what it may cost. Would you want Ben Simmons on your team?
Yes.
Okay.
I would want Ben Simmons on my team specifically because we have a fantastic organization that's known for bringing the best out of our players, and I think the Raptors could fix Ben Simmons more so than the Sacramento Kings could.
Facts. No, I like what you're saying there. I like what you're saying only because, like I said, I was running through this scenario, and in my head I was just like, you know what? And it's weird that the money matches. But as you said, that was the overreaction to Kawhi Leonard. I'm like, if the money matches for what Philly says that they want, because tell me this doesn't sound like Pascal Siakam. You're looking at a lot of teams, right? Sacramento's and a bunch of teams or young players or whatever. But young players normally want some of the young teams that they don't want to give up their young players, or they want other young players or draft capital back or something back. This isn't gonna work. Like, this isn't the case when it comes to when it comes to Philly. They want a player that they can win with right now, and no young team that is out there is trying to give up any good pieces like that. You know, or really give up, and even the capital that they normally would give up for Philly, it's not enough because Philly wants a right now contributor to Philly, somebody that can play alongside that can play alongside Joel Embiid, that can play alongside. What's going on, Mark? I got one of my co-hosts just popped out. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you. I can hear your Spanish music going on in the background. Okay. Trying to get us canceled over here. That's the only way to get. Listen, we've been pretty Teflon, but the easy way to get us canceled is to have some unauthorized audio in the back.
I don't know if Embiid and Siakam could share the floor together though. Like they don't. I don't know how that would work, but
Well,
I'm not Doc Rivers, so I don't have to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, and the way I figure, if he can share a floor with Ben Simmons, then he could definitely share a floor with Pascal Siakam. Because Pascal Siakam doesn't have to take up the same space that Joel Embiid does. He can actually go all the way out to the 3 and leave Joel Embiid with all that space. But then also when he gets his own mismatch, he can work down post and also let Joel Embiid go work outside and then kick the ball out to him. Like, because he's a pretty versatile player. For what I heard that the 76ers want, they want somebody to help them win right now. They don't want somebody that they're trying to develop. They're not trying to get somebody that's a prospect. They're not trying to get somebody young that they don't know about. They want a contributor right now, plug in, play, lights on. And
yeah, I think you're right, but also it is a guard dominant league right now. Like, I don't know how two bigs on the floor. Like, teams haven't had success lately with two bigs.
I mean, they're gonna have to do something. I mean, because you put him at the 4, you get the you get Tobias Harris down at the 3 a little bit more now, and then you keep Maxill in there, and then you figure out your 2 guard, and that's.
I guess it depends who Maxey is. I guess you're right.
Yeah, because Maxey's gonna end up playing the 1, and shout out to my co-host KJ because KJ really liked Maxey last year. It's just that Maxey was just playing on too good of a team for us to qualify him for one of the rookies to watch. But we definitely kept a watchful eye on him, and he was somebody that, he also helped make Ben Simmons expendable this year. But I'm glad he was able to answer that question about Toronto for me because, like I said, I was really curious. I wanted to hear somebody that was a Raptors fan of how they felt about Ben Simmons. And also how they feel about a possible trade for Ben Simmons. And you was able to answer both. What's going on, Mark? Say what's up to the people.
What up? Yay. Yo, I thought I was on.
I am Mark 250. I am Mark 250. I am Mark 250. I am.
Dad.
So, yay. So, right? I was on. I thought I was on for a second, right? So I don't know what happened. I couldn't hear. So like I got off
the copyrighted music.
I got off the fucking podcast, right? And then I went back in and I thought I hit, MyT Sports. I'm gonna say something else. And I hear somebody, hey, welcome 21. Mark 21. I was like, oh, that's not talent. I was like, abort.
You was like, what? He was like, you feel like you just got you feel like you just got trapped in a room. You got trapped in a dark room with some dude you don't know. Like, what the fuck? Where that voice come from? Where my hat? No!
I was like, no.
I'm bilingual. There's a difference. Like, no locked doors. No locked doors. I'm bilingual. There's a difference.
Pineapple. Like pineapple. I don't know you, man. Like,
hey,
shit.
Mark 21.
Sorry, can I tell you a funny story?
Go ahead.
The first time I didn't know Podbean could have like a live show feature. I had no idea it was on here. I just used it to like listen to my podcast too. There was one night I probably had a couple too many drinks. I went to bed. I must have hit some buttons on my phone as I was falling asleep. I woke up. I must have called in one of those African church podcasts that are on here.
Oh God! And there's a bunch of them on there.
Hello, Brandon. Welcome to the show, Brandon. Welcome, Jesus, Brandon. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm alone in my house. I'm sleeping alone in my bed, and I wake up to welcome to the show, Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
He's like, Jesus, is that you?
Black Jesus?
Oh God, that's funny. That is funny as shit.
Black Jesus.
Oh,
Black Jesus?
Like, is that you? Wait, am I still alive? Like, no! I was too young!
I didn't drink that much. I didn't drink that much.
I really expected things to look differently, though. Why does this look like my room?
That doesn't look like my bedroom.
Oh, man, yeah, I could imagine like that. That like, for half a second, especially with the kind of naps I take, where sometimes, like, I take a nap, I'm not even sure I'm in the same day anymore. Like, that shit would kind of freak me out.
I got into black heaven. Sweet.
It's those hot
This
takes.
nigga's like, I'm in the wrong habit.
He's like, yes, I get seasoned food. Basically that's again
Jesus is black.
that's getting invited to the ultimate cookout.
Where's Whitney?
I don't know. She may be in purgatory. Cause like she's loved, but she did some evil shit. She turned Bobby Brown
KJ's
out.
there?
What's that?
Is KJ there?
No, he ain't here. I don't know where KJ's at. He's MIA. So speaking of MIA, let's continue my Knicks talk. You know I gotta stay with my Knicks talk. Let me get them Flames back up. So after the New York Knicks took a decisive victory in Game 2 over Orlando Magic, Game 3 they kind of sputtered. And I was really upset because I was really looking forward to the New York Knicks starting off 3-0 for the first time since 1822. What's going on, cuz? I'm glad you got my notification. So, you know what? I'm gonna backtrack. If you can make it into the podbean room, it was about it. But I have a question for you too. I finally got my two Canadians here. I got a question that I'm gonna ask you as well. That I just asked to one of your fellow Canadians. It's about a possible trade.
Oh,
I want to know.
Canada.
Easy. Don't get cut off.
You can't get cut off for a national anthem.
Man, listen.
It's just like happy birthday, bro.
Listen,
what do you call
as
it?
long as we're not playing like the Russian national anthem or the Chinese national, I don't think I'm gonna have to worry about being cut off. I think everybody else is pretty.
KGB shows up at your door
Yeah,
for that shit.
I think everybody else is okay with you playing their national anthem. Those are the only two countries I'll be worried about. I'll be like, whoa. I'm not trying to fuck with them right now. Stop it. Like them, China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia. I'm not trying to fuck with them. Like, nah. Like, I don't know how they feel about other countries playing their shit. I wouldn't poke fun of that shit to save my life. I ain't trying to start another war. Right, so let me continue my next talk real quick, and then I'm gonna get back into that question. So the New York Knicks end up losing Game 3, and they didn't lose it bad, but it was just a bad feeling. You see, like this year, I think this year probably more than any other year, I am really gonna feel these Knicks wins and losses because those other years I was trying to be numb. I wasn't trying. I couldn't celebrate any real W's because no W's in the years. Not excluding last year, but for the last decade, for the majority of the last decade, Knicks W's weren't really a stepping stone or a milestone towards anything. Now these dubs are actually towards something. They're towards a playoff run. They're towards see that we can get into the second round, get into a championship game, see if we catch somebody slipping. Like the New York Knicks, they kind of fucked up in the Orlando game, and I blame Tibbs for that because at some point in time he should have realized that the Orlando Magic adjusted to how you whooped their ass in that first game. They weren't allowing you to do the same exact thing. They actually went into a zone, to be honest with you. And the zone really fucked them up. So now when you're trying to attempt 53 pointers in a game, when you're not hitting at that high percentage anymore, things start to come back down to normal. The only person, like in that fourth quarter, everybody was fucking off. Everybody was fucking off in that goddamn fourth quarter. The only person that could hit a goddamn shot was when the Rose grows in Brooklyn. Like goddamn, like this motherfucker's on his last legs, literally, and he's the biggest baller that we got on the court when the clutch time. And oh my God, Terrence Ross had 22 points in the game, all 22 points in the fourth quarter. After I spent all weekend bigging up how if you had to pick a player over that was guarding somebody over 30 shots in a game, right? That RJ Barrett had the lowest percentage of 18% that players were shooting, and he let Terrence Ross cook him in the fourth. But he just got hot. Like that's one of the things. Like when you're hot, you just hot. Like hot, like Dame Fuego hot. Like how we about to talk about Stephen Curry. What's that?
Fun fact: the Toronto Raptors' all-time single game scoring record is shared by two players with 51, Vince Carter and Terrence Ross.
Oh, really? But the all-time scorer in your arena was Kobe Bryant with that 81, right?
That was the Staples.
Oh, that was the state. That was in LA. Oh, I always thought that happened in Toronto.
I listened to that game on the radio in my bedroom because I was 11 years old at the time and I had a bedtime, but I still watched all the Raptors games. My mom made me go to bed, and I listened to it on the radio, like sneak under the blanket. Like, Kobe's got 70. Kobe's got 75, and I'm like, holy shit! I wish I could sneak upstairs and watch this on TV right now, but I couldn't.
Man, I would have to wake my parents up and be like, yo, with this history happen, can I just please watch this? Like, I'm sorry, like, I would have to beg, like, they would have to beat me to go to sleep that night. they would literally, wait.
But I guess it's about a halftime. I think Kobe had like 27 at halftime. Kobe put all that work in the second.
He did. Are you saying cuz that did happen in Toronto? I think my cuz is giving me different information.
No, that was a Staples, 100%.
We'll see what he comes back and says in a second. So it was that disappointing loss that happened with the Knicks that kind of threw my weekend. That started throwing my weekend in the sparks. I'm like, you're supposed to beat Orlando. Like I get it. Like, and while I'm upset, as I'm talking about it now, I'm putting myself through my own therapy, and I'm realizing, you know what? Even a broken clock is right twice a day kind of shit. Like, Orlando had to have the biggest spark and the biggest run for them to be able to, and also the Knicks had to go on one of the ultimate droughts in that fourth quarter for them to lose. So hopefully this is one of the things that the New York Knicks can kind of learn from. Again, Tom Thibodeau, I feel like he's a lot to blame here because he never really adjusted his offensive game plan to counteract the zone that Orlando started playing, because they went to that zone to counteract the New York Knicks taking all those threes. So now if they're doing that, then you're gonna have to counteract as well. You got a lot of ball handling guys. You got Kimber Walker now for a reason. You got Evan Fournier now for a reason. RJ Barrett is supposed to be better with his ball handling. You got Julius Randle. You got 4 people that's supposed to be able to get into the middle of the zone and get to that little soft spot, you know, that zones create to be able to get an 18-footer. Or force them to keep collapsing until you're able to kick it out and get an open 3. But the way that they was trying to score last night was not the same. And the thing about it, when the Knicks don't look good, Julius Randle always looks like his former self. And I have to remind people, this is how Julius Randle is now, period. He still is a dribble, spin move, pump fake shot kind of guy. It's just that he got better at making those shots fall.
Dribble.
It's still dribble, pump fake, spin move, dribble. And by now he's traveled. But
that's Pascal Siakam in a nutshell.
So, okay, wasn't LA. Thank you. So,
I'm disappointed that you doubted a lifelong Raptors fan on that.
Well, I was still because
that wasn't a key moment in my Raptors fandom.
Another Raptors fan for half a second said otherwise. I had contradicted information from 2 Raptors fans. What was I supposed to do here? And one I've known my whole life. I'm sorry. It's not that I didn't trust you, SB. It's just that somebody that I trust more gave me information. That's all that was.
You ever see the commercial with Kobe and Jalen Rose? I think it was an ESPN commercial.
Where they're sitting in the restaurant?
Yeah.
And he orders the 81, and he orders the martini with the 81 olives.
Yeah. I mean, I was 2 or 3. It's like, I'm thinking more like 81.
Ooh, somebody just took a bad spill in this Boston and Charlotte game. Looked like he's a Boston player, so I officially stopped caring. All right. Sorry. I'm horrible. I know. I think it's their young center though. Is that Williams?
You know what? I don't remember. If you could ask your friend, I don't remember. Was Vince still on the team at that point? I think he was gone.
Was Vince Carter still on that team when Kobe dropped that 81? See, I feel like if Vince was, then we would hear Vince's name tied to it a little bit more.
Instead of just Jalen.
Yeah.
I think Jalen was the best player on the team at that point.
He had to have been, because I know Jalen wasn't just guarding him the whole time to catch all of it. Like, so if Vince wasn't there, that like if Vince, like for all these years I've never heard Vince's name brought up. I'm gonna assume he wasn't there. If he was there and he managed to catch none of this smoke, then he truly is a Raptors legend. Because Jalen gets drugged through the mud, and and granted he's made light out of it, and he doesn't really care enough. You know, I'd be like, he's found a way to even monetize that shit. But
not to hijack your podcast, but what do you think about Vince being left off that 75 list?
I would have replaced Reggie Miller for Vince Carter any day of the week.
Nah, that's crazy, John.
Well, I'm crazy.
Reggie? Reggie?
I hate Reggie. Yeah, I will replace Vince Carter for Reggie Miller all day long.
What about D12? I thought D12 was the biggest no.
Dwight Howard?
Yeah.
See, it's gonna be because of the rings. Dwight Howard may have a lot of rebounding accolades, and he's gonna go into the Hall of Fame. He has a lot of defensive, like defensive players of the year.
I think four defensive player of the year.
Did Ben Wallace make it?
No.
Then Dwight Howard don't deserve to make it either.
Dwight beat LeBron in the playoff series.
Was that? He did.
Dwight beat.
But so did Ben Simmons. I mean, not Ben Simmons. Not Ben Simmons. Ben Wallace.
Ben
My bad.
Wallace.
Sorry. Got Ben's on the brain.
There's a difference, though, with Dwight Howard was clearly the best player on the team.
I know. I was being facetious. I was being a little facetious.
I know you were.
Alright, cuz. So, so if you could, I'm going to ask you a question. Now. Wait, is he still there? Let me know if you're still there, cuz. The moment you let me know that you're still there, I'm gonna ask you my question. But for right now, until he comes back, we're gonna move on and go around the league because since the last time we spoke, thank God, I keep telling you, I'm a basketball fan first. And then I love every other sport. I'm second. Basketball is number one. I am a basketball. Listen, if all I had to do was talk basketball, I would be the happiest person in the world. If I had basketball to talk about 24/7, 365, and that's all I had to do and worry about, listen, I could be a basketball person. Like, I can be a basketball expert, writer, beat, like, I can consume more basketball than a fat kid likes cake. I love basketball. Now, have you guys heard? You know about the player Gerald Green from back in the day. High flyer, light skin, can dunk his ass off. Turned himself into a 3-and-D guy towards the end of his career.
Slam dunk champion.
Yes, that Gerald Green. Well, Gerald Green very recently got himself a very particular piece of artwork on his body. And what he got was a mural. Yes, a mural of him guarding Kobe. Now, I know how people feel about Kobe, but it's not him dunking on Kobe. And granted, okay, first let me start here. Let's get the good part out of the way. It's a dope ass tattoo. We understand you paying respect and the homage to Kobe Bryant. Fully love that he would do something like that, to pay respect to Kobe, right? Like, hey, if you're willing to put a tattoo of another man on your body that ate family, like, hey, more power to you, right? But it's a little bit more than that. I have to go back to the contents of the tattoo. This isn't a tattoo of him, like, shooting over Kobe. This isn't a tattoo of him stealing the ball from Kobe. This isn't a tattoo of him dunking on Kobe. This isn't a tattoo of him blocking Kobe. This is just a tattoo of him contesting a Kobe shot. At the rim, though, but he's contesting it. And that is what I am. Like, you know what? Praises to you. But more than anything, go check out the tattoo. The tattoo's dope as fuck. Right? All the bullshit behind it,
Is this a bad time to tell you I got a 24 tattoo on my shoulder last year?
No, it's not bad at all. Like, when you didn't get... See, we're also fans, right? We're fans. right? So I can get some weird shit that happens from fans, but this if I'm another basketball player and I have a moment to right, and I want to honor Kobe in it, but I also have a moment, I'm not. I still feel like I'm gonna pick a moment where it's either looks like it's equal footing, or I'm getting the better of Kobe. I don't want a tattoo of me of Kobe getting the better of me. Even though Kobe probably got the better of everybody, I need proof that I got the better of him at least one time. If I'm gonna put a tattoo, I don't want to be like, hey, yeah, see that nigga dunked on me. But we know that.
Did you say the tattoo is just him guarding Kobe?
Yeah, it's him guarding Kobe, or is him challenging Kobe at the rim. Yeah.
But hear me out. If Kobe passes away and you get a tattoo of Kobe, you dunking on Kobe, like people will be like, come on.
You know what?
I know he passed away, but I dunked on him in 06. I got the proof on my back.
Oh shit. You know what? Now that you put it like that, you may like you don't want to disrespect.
You got the date on the bottom corner and shit. February 23rd, 06. I dunked on this motherfucker. Rest in peace.
Hey, let's see. Like, so I'm gonna try to pull this up so if I can get people to see it, if you're watching, and I'm gonna try to get that up for you because it is something that should be seen. So let's try to get this up. Let's see if I can get this into a full screen mode. Because not only do you have to see the tattoo, but then I guess at some point in time you also want to see what it's paying homage to, because it's kind of difficult to tell. So to everybody watching, if you look at your screen, bam, there it goes. That's the tattoo. See, you can't really tell a lot from that picture right there, right? There's not a lot that you can really tell. So let's go ahead and bring that back one time, because this is the image that they're paying reference to. Is this moment of basically Kobe's going to the rim, Gerald Green is challenging him. It's an image from I guess it's from November 4th, 2014, when he played with Phoenix.
I'm watching on IG. I think it's just a bit behind.
It won't be on my IG. It won't be on my IG. It definitely won't be on my. Yeah. It won't be on my.
I'm just looking at you wearing a Roddy Piper t-shirt.
Yes. Yeah, if you're because the IG is my behind the scenes basically camera. So if you're watching like on YouTube, my Facebook, or on my Twitter, on my Twitch, that's how you'll be seeing this. But that's the. Yes, I'm on my. Yes, you can see it on Twitter as well. So I'll leave it up just a little bit longer. So
I'm searching.
This is the image that he has, and I guess it looks dope, but it's a dope Kobe moment that he just happens to be in. It looks like, and I'm sorry. I know what you said. I still feel some type of way. If I'm gonna get this tattoo on me of a dope Kobe moment, I want it to be the one time I flushed it on him. And yeah, I know you'd be like, hey, Kobe just passed, you want to get a tattoo of you done? Well, I want people to remember. I want them to remember Kobe by. So I got this tattoo.
That's a dope picture, man. I got no problems with that whatsoever. That's
it is
a fantastic picture.
It is a dope picture. That's what I said. It's a dope picture. I just have a problem that he didn't pick a picture that put him in a better light. And that's all it is. So let's pop over and then let's see if I can bring up the tattoo again. Where is it at? Where did I put that tattoo? So the image of the tattoo. That's one of them. And it's a dope ass tattoo. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, the detail on the tattoo is pretty fucking dope. If you guys can see that, I don't know how clear that is for you guys, but that's about as best as I can get it. So, even like that's whoever did that tattoo, like, shout out to you, because that is some detail. Like, that is a level of detail that I don't know that I've ever seen from a tattoo. Because he has.
I just saw that, man. That is incredible.
Yeah. Oh, no. It's a dope ass tattoo. Like, I don't want to. I know I'm talking shit about what he chose, but the tattoo in itself. That's why I had to go back. The tattoo and the moment itself is a dope ass picture. It's a dope ass tattoo. Whoever did this tattoo is a fucking artist, because you can see the detail of work that went in this. I just wish I just would have picked something that put me in a better light. That's all that is. That's all it is. Like I said, and I'm playfully saying this, but it is a hell. It is one hell of a fucking tattoo that Gerald Green ended up getting. Now let's go ahead and bring this back.
Do you remember 2016 All-Star Game in Toronto? There could have been an iconic all-time sports photo.
Oh,
when Kobe brought the ball up and LeBron slapped the floor.
And Drake ruined it.
Drake stood up on the front row and started clapping and just ruined the whole fucking picture.
But you know what, though? In this day and age, I look back at it and I'm like, you know what? Drake has now, he earned himself a spot in that picture. Because it's an all-star game. And it's an all-star game.
It's not that he was in the picture. He blocked Kobe. You couldn't see Kobe when he stood up.
Oh, that part. See?
That part.
Oh yeah, there's no coming. I can't explain. I can't justify that one. I can't even bullshit my way around it to even formulate an explanation around that part. So since we talk about the Lakers, let's go ahead and do a little bit more Lakers talk. We're going around the league. The Lakers are beefing, and the Lakers are beefing with everybody. Now I have to keep an eye. Thank you. I have to keep an ear out for what's going on with this scenario. But a fan got kicked out of the game because Rondo was pointing at them, and he slapped Rondo's hand out the way. But Rondo wasn't just pointing at them. Rondo was making a gun. He was making a gun symbol with his hand, and he was constantly pulling the trigger at this fan. And when that fan saw that, he smacked his. I would too. You ain't gonna put
me too.
One, you ain't gonna put your hand in front of my face like that, right? Like as much as NBA players want respect or whatever, this is still a give and take. I can boo you. I can try to throw you off your game or whatever. I can root for whatever team. I can root for my team like whatever players I like when I'm there. And also, I'm not being too egregious or what's considered, outside the parameters of complete disrespect. But what Rajon Rondo is complete disrespect. You can't put your hand in somebody's face and make a gun gesture and start pulling. What the fuck is that? Like, seriously, what the
context matters though. It depends what that fan was saying. He's like, yo, you a bitch, your mom's a bitch. Like,
yeah, so if they say that, yeah, so unless it's something that, but still I'm still gonna smack. Is my cousin on? You back, cuz, yet? I'm still gonna smack your head. I'm sorry. You're not pulling your head. If you probably pointed in my face, maybe. But you start putting that gun gesture and you start pulling that trigger a couple of times, nah, pimpin'. I'm sorry, I'm from Brooklyn. Like, listen, listen. When we pull guns, when we pull guns, we don't pull that shit for show. Listen, there's two places that taught me very well. When you pull your gun, you bust it. Brooklyn and the Army. You don't pull your gun.
And Alec Baldwin.
I always tell you, this is the reason why I don't own a weapon. If I own a gun and we have an altercation and you see it, it's the last thing you see. You would never be able to tell anybody else that you saw my gun if we have an altercation once you've seen it. That's why I don't own a gun.
That's why I'm on your side, bro. That's why I'm glad you.
I also have anger. Like, I have anger issues. Like see, yeah. That's just why I need to get my medical marijuana license, so I can't own a gun legally, and that way I can just buy one to keep inside the crib, and I can never have to take it out in public. So the Lakers are beefing with each other. Now that's one thing. Rondo is beefing with a fan, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna do a little bit of digging to see if they end up finding Rondo for that, because that is some bullshit in a sense. Like, they're gonna have to pull audio. They're gonna have to have. There's gonna have to be real justification on why Rajon Rondo is making ear gun symbols in my face. Like, I'm gonna really have to find that the fuck out. But talking about being in somebody's face, who would have thought that Dwight Howard could ever call another big man soft? But this is actually what happened, folks. Dwight Howard called his teammate, Anthony Davis. He told him to stop. So when Dwight Howard tells you to stop playing soft, you know you playing soft. Because Dwight Howard also won. We may joke about Dwight Howard, right? About what he's into. I don't think we can ever call Dwight Howard soft. Dwight Howard came into the time in the league where you had to be pretty fucking tough as a big man and take a lot of fucking punishment and give out punishment to last. Big men weren't just these rebounding and alley-oop and pick and roll guys. They were consistent 25 touches, back to the basket, I'm controlling the offense through me kind of, and he was one of them. As you heard SB say earlier, he beat LeBron James in a playoff series. Like, he has that underneath his belt. But Dwight Howard told Anthony Davis that he was playing a little soft. Stop playing like a bitch. And Anthony Davis felt some type of way about that. And you know what's even worse? Anthony Davis I'm glad I found out the context of it, because even before I found out the context of it, I thought what Anthony Davis did was also a bitch move too. If somebody
Can I guess the context?
What was that?
I think it was, you made the top 75 players of all time. I'm an 8-time fucking All-Star, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. How come you made it and not me? You ain't shit.
Stop playing like a bitch. Stop playing soft. He added that and afterwards. That's what they didn't tell us.
Yeah.
That he gave that
How
long
come you
ass.
made top 75? You a bitch.
So, if Dwight Howard tells you that you're playing soft, I'm gonna assume that you're playing kind of softish. But even when I see before I heard what happened, I saw what Anthony Davis did, and what Anthony Davis did is what I like to call the school bus beatdown, right? Where if you're gonna fight somebody that's on the school bus, you make sure you get up first, and you're in their face first. That way, when they try to get up, you can just push them back down into their seat, and because they don't have any momentum and the seat is behind them, they're just gonna basically fall backwards, and then what you start doing, you start beating them in between the seats. It's what you call a proper school bus beatdown. It's how you get an advantage to win 100% of your school bus fights. But also, it's a bitch ass move at times, right? Because you're not giving that person time to, like, if it happens to you, like, damn, you didn't even give me time to get up. Like, when it's a fight, I'm not supposed to give you time to get up. Well, they're teammates, right? They're teammates. It's not like they were gonna actually come to fisticuffs. He was just probably gonna get up because, yo, you talking down to me. I'm not gonna let you stick your dick in my face and talk down to me. Fuck that, right? I know nobody's talked down to me. They stick their dick in my face. Somebody's got a dick in my face, and I'm gonna meet them eye to eye. That's me poking joker for the Dwight Howard again. But so when he tried to get up, Anthony Davis immediately pushed him down back into the seat, and he stumbled backwards or whatever. And I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, that's a soft move. You couldn't even give, like, that's your teammate. You couldn't even let him get up. You couldn't let him get up before you guys try to swabble or just talking shit like, nah, you know what? I want to hit the fuck guts. I'm gonna push you back down before you get up. That's some bullshit school bus shit. And Anthony Davis, you must have been playing soft, because not only did you handle that shit like you were playing soft, but your feelings was also hurt like a light skin that was playing soft. So in this particular instance, we're gonna have to say Dwight Howard was right. You were playing soft. But why are the Lakers beefing with each other? Why are they beefing with each other?
You know what I blame?
Who?
I blame that scumbag from St. Vincent, St. Mary High School, 2003, fucking Lebron James. Obviously doesn't have control over his teammates if he's going to let these dudes infight on the bench. Where are you, LeBaron?
But also,
you can't step in between that altercation until these boys settle down and relax? Come on,
fighting,
you're a 4-time champ. You're an MVP.
They're fighting with each other. Rajon Rondo is fighting with fans. Carmelo Anthony is fighting with JaVale McGee, of all people, while they're down by 20. I'm like, Melo.
LeBaron, where you at?
Melo, seriously. We all know that you're way better skilled than JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is one thing and one thing only. He's a shot blocker, he's a rim runner, he's a rebounder. So when there's a possible rebound on a free throw and he boxes you out and pushes you underneath the basket, it's going to happen. Ask. Damn, I'm forgetting his name. But ask Chris Webber what Ben Wallace was doing to him in a blowout game. Right? He was pushing him off. Like, it's so I understand, Melo, you probably was salty because your team was losing. But You shouldn't be arguing with JaVale McGee. That's punching down. Quote Dave Chappelle's recent comedy. That's punching down. And there's no reason that you should be punching down, Carmelo. Because Carmelo Anthony, he just leveled up. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Carmelo Anthony just leveled up. While the whole entire Lakers team is fighting with everybody else, instead of coming together and fighting their opponent on the court through basketball play, they're fighting their teammates, they're fighting the crowd, they're fighting garbage ass players, right? Like they're distracted by everything else. But I wasn't distracted by the fact that Carmelo Anthony balled out still. Not in the game that they got blown out by 21, but it seemed like they finally got a little bit of juice. And Carmelo Anthony came out there and he jumped like 20-something points, and he moved himself into ninth all-time scoring, ninth all-time on the all-time scoring list. It sounds redundant, but ninth all-time on the scoring list.
Clap it up for Melo.
Big up.
Yeah, we don't clap it up here. We give them big ups. So definitely big up to Melo. Listen, I know you guys. I know some of you guys have visited my Twitter before, but you guys know how I feel about Melo. I love me some Melo, and if you go on my Twitter, I have said that I feel very passionate about that. If Karl Malone didn't have John Stockton, Carmelo Anthony would have already passed him on the all-time scoring list. I truly feel that way. Now,
where's Malone?
Carmelo is he's second all-time scoring.
I thought Brown passed him.
No. LeBron hasn't passed him yet. LeBron hasn't gone into second yet. No, I don't think LeBron has gone into second yet.
Is LeBron 3?
He must be
Kareem,
third. Yeah,
Malone, LeBron.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, yeah, let's see. I didn't think LeBron had moved into second.
I know the gap between Kareem and Malone is like 10,000 or something crazy.
So let's see. LeBron James. I want to say he's definitely at least third, but I don't think he. Okay, so yeah, he is definitely right now third. Karl Malone is still second. Let's see, and Karl Malone is at 36,928 points, and LeBron James is at 35,445 points. LeBron James can catch him this year. 1,500 points? Yeah. He could probably He could probably catch him this year. You're talking about 1,500 points. That's about 20. That's averaging 20 points per game. And listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Years ago, probably in the first or second year of the podcast, we already did these numbers for LeBron James. We told you guys in year 2 of the podcast that if LeBron James can average 20 to 25 points per game, we saw this coming right around here, where the only thing that was gonna stop his time frame was him scoring. Was him being injured. Would have either pushed it back, or if he stops averaging over 20 points per game, and then if he goes down to 18, then it's gonna add a whole another year onto it. You'll be surprised how quickly of a difference between 20 and 18 points he'll have to. You know what I mean? So it gets, but he's there. He's on pace. LeBron James is on pace.
It's crazy, man. I don't know where you're at, but if you look at LeBron's stats, like it's almost unfeasible the fact that every year it's like 27-7-7, 28-7-7, 26-8-7. Like he's in the same wheelhouse every single year around that 27-7-7 mark.
Yeah, that's kind of always been his average. Yeah, right, somewhere around there. So when he first starts falling off, you'll see. But also, you know what though? When he starts falling off, I don't even know if we're gonna notice it at first, because just like how when he played his first healthy season with the Lakers and Anthony Davis, I wasn't surprised that for the first time he had double-digit assists. He was getting close to double-digit assists for a year, because he was averaging 7 to 8 assists before a guy like Anthony Davis. Now he has a guy like Anthony. This is the first time he's ever had somebody he could consistently throw it over the top of the rim, and he has that can play above the rim on a consistent basis as a big man. That's reliable.
CB was never that guy, but no. CB was probably the closest.
Yeah, exactly. He would have been the closest, but he wasn't a bona fide above the rim kind of player like that. Anthony Davis is gonna go up there for those lobs and stuff, and then you added having Dwight Howard at that point in time. When that is just lobs waiting to happen. So the fact that LeBron James pulled out like 10 assists that year, not surprised. That's personnel. I didn't even realize this. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 1 3-pointer in his whole entire career. One. One! That's the crazy shit. LeBron James is going to have more three-pointers than anybody else in that top 5 list. Top 6 list, actually. He even passed Dirk Nowitzki for three-pointers made. He hasn't passed Paul Pierce, though, or Vince Carter. They got some threes on them. Those guys have been scoring some threes. Well, also Vince Carter. I know Vince Carter. He got that Jason Kidd route where he kind of racked up a whole bunch towards that end. Also, as we know, he ain't gonna pass Ray Allen. If he passes Vince Carter, I'll kind of be impressed. Because right now we're talking about LeBron James has 1,900 threes, almost 2,000 threes. Actually, no, he could probably pass Vince Carter. Vince Carter has 20. Nah, let's see. He'll have to get 300 more three-pointers in his career to pass Vince Carter. So he'll probably most likely pass Paul Pierce, who only needed 150 more three-pointers before he passed. Like that's more of a real. You know what? We're gonna have to keep that up. That's gonna be one of his next milestones. The guys that he start passing on the all-time three-points made list, and Paul Pierce is gonna be one of those names that when he passes Paul Pierce, I think people are gonna be shocked that he made that many three-pointers in his career.
The Vince Carter Toronto Raptor fan arc is one of the most fascinating things in I would think even as a guy from New York, you would find it fascinating, just the relationship between Vince and the Raptors fans, how it evolved over the years.
Oh. Well, it's one of those easy like love hate or hate love, and then you hate to see you go, and then you come back and it's admirable. Hey, but that kind of what happens in sports, and people don't even realize that. For the most part, while fans may get mad at you for leaving, a lot of times you can come full circle. Most great players can come full circle, and if enough time passes, and you haven't, and they will forgive you, especially if you haven't won, right? Like if you haven't done a lot of winning, they feel a little bit more sympathetic towards you. Now,
well, just shout out to Drake, man. There was a decade and a half of people hating Vince here in this market. It was a combination of the Raptors finally having success, and Drake put out a documentary that he produced about Vince Carter's time in Toronto. Mm-hmm. And basically, the main point of the documentary was, hey, if it wasn't for Vince, this team would have not even exist anymore.
So it made you guys. So then Drake said it, and then it also made you guys have a deeper admiration for it. So
it was a compelling argument. The Raptors and the Grizzlies came in the league at the same time. Grizzlies lasted 4 years. We probably would have had the same fate if it wasn't for a superstar like Vince.
So we started talking about a couple of three-pointers, right? Because we kind of stumbled into this category. I'm gonna take some time and go through the top 15 all-time three-pointers made. Do you want to guess a couple of people on this list? And do you want to guess LeBron James' position before we even start? Because he's in the top 15 of three-pointers made. Do you want to guess LeBron James' current position?
I'm going to say he's 9th.
You're close. Paul Pierce is 9th. And he hasn't passed Paul Pierce yet. LeBron James is 11th.
He's 11th. Damn, that was my second.
Recently passed by Damian Lillard. And the fact that Damian Lillard is already up here. God. Because that's a lot of three-pointers. So, top 15. Do you want to guess a couple more names that may be on this list?
I know, is Ray 1?
Well, yep, Ray Allen is number 1.
Steph 2.
Steph is number 2.
Reggie's up there.
Reggie Miller is number 3.
Clay, is Clay top 10?
Klay Thompson is not in the top 10. He is 20th, right behind Kobe. Kyle Lowry's in the top 20.
I guess my guess.
But he's not in the top
15.
Is he
really?
Kyle Lowry's in the top 20, but not top 15. But he's in the top 20. God damn. I'm actually surprised by a couple names even in the top 20. I thought I was surprised by names in the top 15. Actually, you know what? because I want to give some action here. Listen to the names 15 through 16. Klay Thompson at 20, Kobe Bryant at 19, Kyle Lowry at 18, Chauncey Billups at 17, and J.R. Smith at 16. All-time three-pointers made career. He's 15th on the list. I am completely shocked that he is 16th on the list. Completely shocked.
J.R. Smith.
J.R. freaking Smith.
I gotta guess that I think James Harden is up there, and I feel like he shouldn't be, but I feel like he must be.
You know what? James Harden is up here, and you have now named the top 4 of all time. So
Are you serious?
Ray Allen's number 1, Stephen Curry's number 2, Reggie Miller's number 3, James Harden is number 4.
I got 2 more guesses, and then I'll concede the rest.
Okay.
Is Kyle Korver in the top 10?
I hate you. Are you looking at the list?
No, I'm not. I swear
Kyle
to God, I'm not.
Korver is number 5.
Kyle Korver's 5?
Uh-huh.
How is
And
Kyle Korver 5?
Kyle Korver's 5. And you already know who number 6 is. We were just talking about him.
Bean.
No, and his turnaround. The Toronto favorite.
Pascal Siakam. No.
But yeah, Vinsanity, number 6.
Vince is 6.
Yes. I'm still surprised.
I feel like how many years in the NBA was Kyle Korver a starter?
Oh man, I don't know, but they have him doing this in 1,232 games he accomplished that in.
I've always thought of Kyle Korver as an off-the-bench three-point threat. I've never thought of him as like anyone who sniffed the top 10.
You want a couple of these other names? Or you want to keep trying to take a couple more guesses?
What's the dude who's been around for years and years? Crawford.
Jamal Crawford. He is number 8 on the list. You are smoking on these, B. Oh man. Now, we mentioned Damian Lillard already, right? I don't know if you paid attention to that one, but we mentioned a couple. Right around the 9 through 10. So, I'm sorry.
Disco Dirk.
Dirk Nowitzki. He is number 13 on the list.
I think I've exhausted my guesses.
Because there's gonna be a few that you're not even gonna think of, but I'm still surprised. I'm still like, listen, you got 6 of the top 10 already knocked down, and I gave you. We talked about 2 already, and you didn't mention them. We talked about Paul Pierce and Damian Lillard. Paul Pierce is number 9. Damian Lillard is number 10.
J. Kidd.
Jason Kidd is number 12.
Ah!
Now, a couple of these obscure names, I'm going to help you guys. We already talked about Vince Carter at number 6, right? So now we have 7, 11, 14, and 15. And these are where things are going to get tricky. Do you want a hint, or do you just want me to say it?
Give me a hint on 7, because I feel embarrassed I don't know 7.
7 is Dirk Nowitzki's teammate. Or was a teammate of Dirk Nowitzki.
What year?
The championship years.
Oh shit, I was gonna say Nash. Sean Marion. Jet Terry.
Yes, Jason Terry, number 7, the Jet. Now, for number 11, we already mentioned that. I don't know if you guys remember, but we always talked about that one. That's LeBron James, sitting at number 11, right outside the top 10. And he's not gonna catch Damian Lillard, obviously. So what's gonna end up happening? He's gonna have to pass Paul Pierce to get into the top 10, because Damian Lillard is also gonna end up passing Paul Pierce and always kind of have a step on him. Now, for the 14th,
10 years from now, it'll be Steph and Dame 1-2 probably.
It probably is. It probably is. Like, cause there's some guys like they're gonna be 1 and 2, and I'm trying to figure out who may catch them. Cause that's a fast pace, especially for Dame. Like that is a super fast
Clay
pace.
Clay's got a depending on injury. Clay.
Yeah, Clay may catch him because he's sitting at 20 right now. So Clay can maybe get himself into the top 10 before his career is over. I don't know if he'll get up to number 3 though, because we're talking about Clay right now
Luka
has. Let's see. He has 1,000. No. Clay has 1,798. So he needs about a good 800 more to pass Reggie Miller. And let me see. I don't
Luka
see.
and Trey will be up there.
Yeah, Trae Young will definitely get in here pretty soon. Let's see. Kemba Walker's 30. Camilla Anthony's 31. We got Trevor Ariza at 33. Manu Ginobili at 39. Chris Paul at 40. We got Lou Williams at 43. Antoine Walker at 45. And Mitch Richmond is number 50. I'm not going beyond 50 to look.
Book will be up. Book will be top 10.
Devin Booker will probably he'll probably get in here pretty soon too. We'll have to go end up looking and see where they're at now because to see where those between Devin Booker, Luka Doncic, and Trash Young, we'll have to see where their numbers are at now to kind of see a projection of where they're going to be. But they're gonna be up there pretty soon. Okay, so for number 14, he is an Atlanta Hawks legend, known for his isolation basketball.
Dominique.
Joe Johnson. We're talking 3-pointers here. Joe Johnson is number 4.
I can only name one Atlanta Hawks legend.
Well, I guess Joe Johnson ain't quite a legend. It depends on. I guess legend is a very strong term. I should have said all-star. Former Atlanta all-star. I may have thrown it off by calling Joe Johnson a legend, but he was legendary with that ISO game. That ISO Joe. And also, Joe Johnson was one of the first point forwards in the league. People forget about his time in the D'Antoni system in Phoenix. He was one of the first point forwards in the league.
That changed the NBA before the Steph Curry Warriors changed the league.
Yes.
That was like the precursor to the new NBA. That fast-paced 16 on the shot clock, puck up threes.
Oh yeah, listen. The current NBA that we currently see now, whether they want to or not, they need to give credit to Mike D'Antoni because it was his outlook on analytics, on getting shots up earlier in the shot clock so that you can give yourself more possessions that also started that. And then they incorporated the 3 and the dunk into it, and it completely changed the whole entire league. Everybody finally saw D'Antoni as a fucking genius. They don't give him credit for it. They really don't. But everybody's basically adopted the D'Antoni system.
And my guy, top 3 Canadian athlete of all time, Steve Nash.
And I don't see Steve Nash. I don't know what Steve Nash is on this list. I don't see him any. Oh, there he goes, number 26. Right behind Dale Ellis and right above Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant is going to.
That's surprising me too, because I don't picture Steve Nash hucking threes. When I picture Steve Nash, I think of him dribbling under the rim and kicking it out.
That's kind of how I feel about Kevin. But I guess he had a decent. Yeah, you don't realize it, do you? That these guys put up that many 3-pointers sometimes to be up there. But Kevin Durant is right behind Steve Nash at number 27. So he's going
It's
to end
efficiency too, right? Like Steve hit the 50-40-90 club a couple of years. Like it was consistency, I guess.
So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Kevin Durant is going to be in the top 25 of 3-pointers made by the end of the season. He's not that far behind.
Where is he at now?
He's 27. He's only 24 3-pointers behind Steve Nash. And after that is Dale Ellis. And he is, let's see. He is 60 3-pointers behind him to take over the 25th spot. And then 24 and 23
give him 15, 20 games.
Yeah. and then in the 24 and 23 spot is Wesley Matthews and Peja Stojakovic. And Paul George is...
Wesley Matthews is 24?
I'm not surprised about that. I thought he was a big 3-point shooter. But I guess I should be, in a way, because some of the names he's ahead of. Well, yeah, but Wesley Matthews, 24. Peja, 23. Paul George, 22. Rashad Lewis, 21.
like, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I think of these guys like when I said about Corver. Like, I don't picture these guys as big minute eaters.
What about Michael Finley being in the top 50 of three-pointers? Does that surprise you?
Top 50 or 15?
50, 5-0.
Oh, less surprising than it would have been if you said 15.
Now, Dan Marley is still holding on at 47. He was just recently passed by Bradley Beal, who's now 46. Oh God, Bradley Beal's gonna be up there. Jesus Christ, I don't know how I missed that name. He's gonna be up there pretty soon too. If he's already in the top 50
How old
now,
is Brad Beal?
27, 25. He's young.
All right. I just feel like he's been around forever.
Wait, is he like is he like 30 now? Hold on. No. Hold on, I'm about to pull it up. 28 years old. Been in the league 9 years.
If he plays on bad teams his whole career and he's the only guy that's getting points, then he could.
I don't think that's going to affect how many three-pointers he makes. Because he's still going to take those three-pointers whether he's on a bad team or not. If he goes to another team, he's just going to be a key contributor, but he's not going to lose that many shots. It's going to be more space. And, yeah, Bradley Beal, he's going to get his butt up there pretty soon, too. So, let's go ahead and shift, because we kind of got overwhelmed by all of this three-point talk. Right? Let's go on the good and bad to see you guys popping in. I just saw you guys popping in. Welcome. Thank you. I wasn't checking the stats. I wasn't checking the comments. I was over here checking some stats, but I do appreciate you guys sticking with me. Didn't mean to ignore you. We here now. Let me go and get Goods' invite to the Blue Chew getting hotline so that he can talk whenever he's ready. So something else around the league that caught my eye. James Harden declined his option for Brooklyn. And I was kind of shocked. Because I didn't expect him to do I'm going to release myself from this contract and then re-sign with Brooklyn. I thought he would just always do an extension if he wanted to. So the fact that he's not signing his extension makes me think, what the hell is going to go on in Brooklyn past this year? You already got Kyrie Irving. We have no clue what's going to be his status for this year or any future years, and now you got James Harden declining his option. Is Kevin Durant the only person that has re up so far? Did Kevin Durant re up yet?
Isn't there supposed to be a new NBA TV contract coming up, like there was a couple years ago when everyone signed for crazy money?
That could be it. That there may be new TV money coming out. I know, because I know their new deal with ESPN.
Nick Batum got $20 million.
Yeah. In the new deal that came out a couple years ago, they were going to release funds almost in tiers, because if they would have dropped everything that ESPN gave them money wise, players would have been paid $75 million a year. Just to let you guys know, if they would have taken that money and put it all into 1 year, not prorated, we're talking about LeBron James and Stephen Curry and them boys making $75 million this year. That's how high the salary cap would have had to jump. And they would have eaten up that percentage just off GP. But yeah, they're doing staggered negotiations, so it's gonna be so there's gonna be new shit added like around 2000. I don't know if it's gonna be this year. So yeah, either 2022 or 2023 is when a new one is supposed to pop into play. And then another piece of it drops again like another 3-4 years after that, like around 2027-ish. So there's structured raises that's gonna be up before we finish this decade. Trust me, a $50 million max player or a $50 million player in the NBA is gonna be routine by the end of this decade. It's going to be routine. Trust me when I tell you this. We're going to be looking at players like, he got 45 mil? What the fuck? Like, we're going to be looking at Enes Kanter kind of guys. But when Enes Kanter had, like, his best season. We're going to be looking at, like, those guys. But, like, he got 45 mil? It's just going to be the time. But I'm still a little shocked. I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to do a little bit more research and see if that collective bargaining agreement, or if there's new money coming at the end of this year or next year. Because that could all be part of his plan, because who knows if James Harden says, I want to sign a one-on-one, where I sign a 1 year deal with a 1 year option. That way he could opt out again next year and then get right back into that money pool.
Because, but I've been doing that for like a decade.
Well, that's what LeBron has been doing, and that's what Jordan started doing. Remember, towards the end of his career as well too, to make sure he didn't lock himself in. He kept on getting those $30 million contracts, $31 million contracts towards the end. I'll never forget that shit. Now, just like I can't forget about Curry's hot night the other day. When we're talking about Gwen, this is the spiciest I have had Curry in a while. And man, speak of in fuego. Curry was cooking. One straight quarter, 25 points, no missed shots, 9 field goals, 5 3-pointers. Cooked. And that was supposed to be the Clippers' home opener. Was that the Clippers' home opener? Was it the Clippers' home opener and the Golden State's first game? Or was it the Clippers' season opener and the Golden State's Warriors' first home game? It was one of those two things. I can't quite remember the details. But I know it was the first home game for one and the first actual game for the other team. And Stephen Curry took it to them. I think it was Golden State.
It wasn't the Warriors' first game.
Yeah, it was Golden State Warriors' first home game and the Clippers' first official game. Okay, that's what that was. And granted, we know that Kawhi Leonard isn't playing for the Clippers, and everything right now is falling on the back of Paul George to be the leader of that team. But man, Curry was cooking. Now, I also remember that by somewhere in when the third quarter started, Curry only had 29 points, right? So those are the ups and downs of basketball. He didn't miss a shot in the first quarter, but he only ended up scoring 4 more points in the second. But still, what a start! What a start! Do you know that there has never ever there's only been one other player to have a 25-point quarter like that on that kind of shooting? And that was Klay Thompson. The only other player.
60 with 14 dribbles.
Yeah. Oh my God. Remember that day? He had 14 dribbles and scored 82 points. And I was like, hey, but that's what happened. But see, that's a testament to his great balance. People don't even realize that. That is great balance to always be in a ready position to catch and shoot. Like that is a thing of beauty almost.
Honestly, they talk about 3-and-D players like PJ Tucker or Gordon, 3D guys is it's a category of player nowadays.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Klay is the ultimate 3D guy, but
he is.
It's almost disrespectful to call him that because he's so much better than every other 3-and-D guy in the league that you can't even put him in the same category as those dudes.
But he is a 3-and-D guy. He's a Danny Green. He's those guys. I mean, but he is though. But just like how you have shooters that can't really play defense at all, you got playmakers and then you have the elite of the elite when it comes to playmakers. When it comes to 3-and-D, Klay Thompson is the elite of the elite. He is the person. How you doing, Sugars? I see my baby watching the podcast. When it comes to 3-and-D guys, Klay Thompson is who people thrive to be. So if you're going to be a category, at least he's the top of the category, right? So he is the, and pun intended, he is the golden standard for 3-and-D. Wherever you want to state it or not, he is the Warriors' way for 3-and-D. That's how people. Is that how people thrive to be Stephen Curry as a shooter? Well, they thrive to be Klay as a 3-and-D guy. But oh my God! So back to this Steph Curry game, right? He had 25 in the first quarter. I think by the half he only ended up having 29, but he ended up finishing this game with 45 points. All of that shooting, they still only won by 2 points. Isn't that crazy? All of those buckets he was getting, and they still only won by 2 points. But let me tell you what happened, because this is basketball, and basketball is a game of runs and momentum. They cooked them in that first quarter, right? 44-27. The game looked like it was over. I don't know if you got the game looked like it was over in the first. Like how that Knicks versus Orlando game looked like it was over in the first. That's how this game looked. But then in the second quarter, I told you Stephen Curry cooled off. 4 points. Well, those 4 points will cause a whole complete turnaround, where The LA Clippers now will end up putting up 40 points in the second quarter, while Golden State will only put up 22. Here we go. We talk about it. We have a game again. And that's all it took. They're actually down by 1. They completely erased a 17-point lead. And then now we got a game on. And this is how somebody that can put up 25 points in one quarter and have a 17-point lead can end up only having to win by 2.
That's why people that say you don't have to watch the NBA game except for the last 5 minutes,
They're
people
tripping.
say that shit.
They're
And
tripping.
I want to say they're wrong, but also they're kind of right in the fact, like you said, like you could be up 20 after the first quarter. It doesn't really mean much.
I'm gonna tell you this. If all you care about is the end result, then yeah, I guess you could put on the 5 minutes. But every game has a story, right? The ups and the downs.
I agree.
What got you to that point? So if you want to turn to the back of the book and be like, oh, Roger killed Evelyn. I'm sorry, wrong name to use here. Rest in peace, Evelyn. My boy's aunt just died. Shit, that's probably why that name was there. my bad. Rest in peace, Evelyn. Yeah. One of my brother's aunt just died. Like she damn near aunt to me, damn near. Shit. All right, so.
Rest in peace, man. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah. Rest in peace to you, Evelyn. Yeah, that shit had me shook. I ain't gonna lie. Like I was here when I realized that shit had happened. Like I was really here in my space, and I was shook. My girl had to like she wasn't here with me physically, but she had to verbally shake me to get me out of my shit. Like she's like, babes, come back to me. And I was like, my bad. I was really in my feels a while ago. Like, I always got back into my feels a while, but like I said, if you're that kind of person,
So I know the feeling. Not to get too sentimental on the show, but one of my best friends passed away about 6 weeks ago.
oh my
He was
condolences.
only 30 years old.
Oh shit. That
And
sucks.
the fact of the matter was that the day he passed away, everyone, like all our friends group from the last 10 years, was at my house. We were drinking Coors Lights because that's what Dave drank. That was his beer. But it was like a thing. It was like a bittersweet moment, right? Because it's like I'm so happy that we're finally all here together for the first time in years. But what a sad thing that this is what had to do it.
I know.
Loss is tough to do with, man. I don't know how to. I know I sidetracked the whole shit.
No, it's okay. I sidetracked the whole shit. You just piggybacked off what I did. It's okay. No, I get it. I get it. No, it is tough. But if we could try to get back to where we were, if we can. And again, my condolences for your loss. If you're a kind of person that can just go to the back of the book and be like, okay, so they caught Ocean's 12 and Ocean 12 robbed the bank and they got away with the money. Instead of seeing how they built up to that shit, then go be it. Because that's what you miss when you just tune into the final 5 minutes of any kind of sporting event. Like the ups and downs to me matter, the roller coasters matter, the emotions matter. This is why people lose their mind on sporting events, whether they have money on it or not, is because you invest that time and you want to take that journey with them for the next 2 to 3 hours.
Absolutely. I guess that's a good point. There's a difference between, I guess, a fan and someone that just has money on it.
Yeah. Now, even after Stephen Curry had that hot start to his game the other day, he ended up playing who was one of my new favorite players. And that is one by the name of Davion Mitchell. And Davion Mitchell is the rookie from Sacramento. And he has been bestowed... Wait, Sacramento, yes. He plays for the Kings. Right? I was making sure I was using the right terminology. He has been bestowed the title of Off Night. Because when you play against him, you are going to have an off night. Now, so far, this has been true to everybody, except for so far, I want to say Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry managed to get away a little unscathed. Actually, I'm lying. I am lying. I just pulled up his numbers. Steph went 9 for 23 and 4 for 15 for 3. That sounds like an off night. But so Stephen Curry even after after they pulled out a win against Sacramento 119-107, he had praise for the one that they called off night. And what he had to say was, "Yo, they talk about that dude's defense. It's like, shit, he was on fire this game. They need to take a look at his offense because his offense is starting to really come out." Davion Mitchell came, and he's no longer starting on this team. I think they tried him in the starting role a couple of times, but now it looks like they're bringing him off the bench. But Davion Mitchell dropped 22 points off the bench, 9 for 16 shooting, 3 for 8 from 3-point range. He technically shot better than Stephen Curry, and put up damn near as many points, taking 7 less shots. But Davion Mitchell, he may not be starting, but he's damn near playing starting minutes. He played 32 minutes. That's starting minutes. I'm
This
sorry?
2021 class might turn out to be one of those special draft classes.
Yes.
Cade, Scotty Barnes.
Yes.
If Evan Mobley can keep this going.
I feel you.
Davion.
I 100%. And there's some guys right now that I feel like aren't getting any playing time really. And I feel like one of them is on the Knicks. That they ain't getting really any playing time yet. But once they do, you're going to be like, oh shit, we forgot about him in this draft class. And now you're going to add another name to that draft. They're going to have one of those draft classes that you're going to compare to the 2003 draft classes, the 84 draft classes. You know, there's another one too, a 2013, 12, I can't remember what year that was. But they're going, if it turns out how I think it is, it's going to be one of those draft classes that you talk about with some of the historic ones that produced a lot of great players.
84 and 03 is the gold standards, regardless of.
Yeah, there's one more. There's one more that's happened since then. I just can't remember. But yeah, 84 and 03. If you can't remember, that's because
96.
Nah, there's one more after 96. So. That's okay.
96 was
the Allen Iverson and Ray Allen and
Ray
Kobe and all them boys. Yes,
Kobe,
yes. Garnett, I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, not sure. No, Garnett was the year before or the year after. But yes, even the 96 one. There's another one too. I thought there was another one a little bit more recent, but you guys get the point. This draft class may get up there with those draft classes as how they get talked about. And speaking of draft classes, right? Did you guys see that the NBA G League had their draft recently? And there were actually some notable names that were taken in the NBA G League's draft. Now, there's probably one name that's going to stick out more than everybody else, and that is one by the name of No, I'm joking.
I was waiting for you to say LiAngelo, and I'm like, you gonna say LiAngelo?
It's Lance Stevenson. Like, Lance Stevenson is my boy. He's a Brooklyn native. So when it came to the notable names, he did stick out to me. But I had to talk about the guy that got drafted by Cleveland, number 16th pick, B.J. Taylor. Now, the only reason why we're mentioning B.J. Taylor because we share a last name. I have no clue how his game is whatsoever. Right? But after B.J. Taylor, we have number 14 that was drafted, or drafted 14. That was LiAngelo Ball. He was drafted by the... What was he drafted by? Delaware or not the Grand Rapids? That was his brother that was drafted. Not his brother. That was Lance Stevenson was drafted by Grand Rapids. Who was he drafted? I can't see that shit. I can't see that shit at all. Hillsborough? Is that what I say? Greensboro. LiAngelo was drafted by
the Hornets G League.
Yes. And then right behind him, or right after that, was Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson got drafted number 13. And I joked about wanting to big up Lance Stevenson, but as you guys can see, I definitely wanted to bring him in as an honorable mention as a notable player that got drafted, because since Lance Stevenson has been out of the league, he has been grinding. Like I said, I follow Lance Stevenson, so I see the work that he does. He's been playing overseas. He's been keeping himself in shape. He's consistently playing the game of basketball. He deserved another shot at the NBA, because I always considered Lance Stevenson one of those Swiss Army knife kind of players. Now, you guys may have heard me do this a long time ago, but while they're not on the same level as him, they all kind of have the same makeup. And I put them in it was where I put LeBron James. I kind of put Draymond Green. You get Lance Stevenson in another low level where it's just kind of playmaking guys. Like they can create their own shot. They can assist off the ball. They can assist off the dribble. They can get to the basket when they want to. They get rebounds, push the ball, get assists. Kind of this really Swiss Army. Now everybody does it at different levels, but I always thought Lance Stevenson was that guy. And the fact that we get to see him now back in some kind of NBA league, where at least he's no longer overseas, I'm really happy for. At least he gets to come back home. At least he gets to come back home. I'm happy for that. Now,
I just like him because I'm such a LeBaron hater. It's like the enemy of the enemy is my friend.
That too. Yeah, all those years he was the LeBron antagonist. Right? I was so mad that they got rid of him before he could get a championship. I really wanted Lance Stevenson to be on that championship Lakers team, but they got rid of him, and then that very next year is when they won. So he's only been out of the league like maybe 2 years now. But it's felt like forever. Or maybe it's been 3 years. I forgot how many seasons we've played in the last 2 years. Right? I feel like we played like 5 seasons in the last 2 years.
I gotta admit my ignorance though. I did not realize that the G League drafted older players. Like I didn't even know G League had a draft. To be honest with you,
I think the G League draft is something that I think they started last year when they started making the qualification. And if they didn't start last year, then I really didn't even pay attention to the G League draft before then either.
Hopefully that's the case because I feel less bad if it's a new thing.
Yeah, it's the G League. Okay, so whether they had it or not before, its significance didn't really start until last year when they started to allow those college players to come in, and that's how we got who's that kid this year? Actually, the G League draft. Actually, this may be the very first year of the G League draft, because now they're drafting players can get paid. They're getting paid about $125,000, and if they're drafted this year, they can't play in the NBA this year. They have to go. Well, it's so different. They have like 3 or 4 different categories of players. They have like the college players, or the players that are coming out of college and high school. Those guys are still young enough to go through the draft, where they have to go through the draft again to be able to play. Then you have the guys that's going to come up like Lance Stevenson. Those guys are going to probably automatically get 2-way contracts or automatically qualify for 2-way contracts. So even though they got drafted, I think they can play, but I don't know if they can play this year though. I think I saw.
Like I know Fred VanVleet went undrafted and he played a year with the Raptors 905.
Yeah, I think the new rule may now state if once you get drafted by the G League, you can't play in the NBA in that same year. You have to. Like I know definitely for the young players you have to get drafted. I know definitely for those guys they have to get drafted. I'll have to do a little bit more research to find out what happens to guys like Lance Stevenson or maybe even LiAngelo Ball, who's already been in the league. You know, start finding out what happens to guys like that.
That's very smart to make the G League a moneymaker. That's a very smart plan.
But yeah.
It's going to make people come out to see. If somebody's going off for the Greensboro Hornets or wherever the team is, it's going to get people out to see those games.
Listen, I know that I need to do some research and find out if the Miami Heat have a G League affiliate. I may start making my way out to some G League games because those are the games that be super cheap. You're gonna get tickets for like $10. And I'm gonna be sitting courtside for a $10 seat. I'm interested. The G League draft I know is a little bit more prominent now because of the rules that they're tying in to make the G League an official, to make them their official amateur league, the amateur paying league. But that's now a viable option for players to come to instead of going overseas or instead of going to college. So these are the names now. And if you guys have been looking on YouTube and everything else, then you have the whole entire draft order from first round 1 to 28 there in front of you. And of course, there's also, that's Lance Stevenson, number 13. Obviously, the biggest name in the draft, Zaire Wade, Dwayne Wade's son. He goes number 10. I'm a little surprised he didn't go sooner. But I ran into a referee down here recently that said Dwayne Wade's son really wasn't that good. And he's not surprised that he's going into the G League. But also, I think he was also mad about something else. I don't see any reason why LeBron James' son or Dwayne Wade's son should go into to go to college. To be honest with you.
You ever see that joke somebody made on Twitter a couple years ago about LeBron said he didn't want his son to wear his number because he didn't want to put the pressure on him? And someone's like, number 93, LeBron James Jr. No, who's that kid?
Like, hey, who's that? Like, we don't know who he is because he don't have your number.
I don't want him to wear number 23. That's too much pressure.
But you know what though?
I don't know who that is.
But I don't know why he's saying his number. That's Jordan's number that come with all that pressure. That isn't LeBron's number. That isn't LeBron's 23 that has pressure. That's Jordan's 23 that has that pressure. LeBron's 23 says, "Hey, go take the easy route. Go find yourself a team that's already loaded, or build yourself a loaded team and take the easy route like you did in AAU. Go team up with all the good players."
The NBA should have done what the NHL did. When Gretzky retired, they retired the number 99 across the league. Like Jackie Robinson's 42, Gretzky's 99. I think those are the only two numbers that are retired across the entire league.
They should have for Jordan. I kind of agree with you because of the heights that he helped the NBA grow to from his play. Like, because they've had, because not to say that he's the greatest, I don't want to have that debate, but he for the era that they were coming through and being real detrimental to that television money and that market that they were doing then, Jordan is the cash cow for that. And I can justify because of basically the era of basketball that we have now visually was all because of Jordan. Right? Or what David Stern did during the Jordan era, that Jordan made sure he carried us through. So I can see, yeah, they could have, they should have. And
I'm not sure to give you a hockey history lesson, but the 99 Wayne Gretzky, he got traded from Edmonton to Los Angeles Kings at a time where the NHL was trying to expand into the States. There was 21 teams, I think, at the time, 7 in Canada, 4 in the States, maybe 8 in Canada, and the American markets were failing. Gretzky got traded to the Los Angeles Kings, and all of a sudden, there was a major market in the U.S. where hockey was popular. If it wasn't for that moment, the NHL might not be what it is today. And it probably is still the 4th or 5th major sport in the U.S., but it's at least on the map, which it might not have been if it wasn't for Wayne Gretzky. So I think that's why they retired his number, is if it wasn't for him, this league might not exist in the same form.
And you know what? In a way, Jordan kind of helped do that for basketball. he really helped.
That's what I'm saying. Compare the two.
It really is weird. I don't know. Give it time. Who knows? Who knows? But I know there wasn't a lot. I don't think you get a lot of backlash from the league if you retire 23, 24, or 8. Like I think a lot of people would kind of be okay with that. And
I'm kind of surprised they didn't do something like that to retire one of those two numbers after the Kobe tragedy.
Now, the very last name on the G League's draft I wanted to mention was Shamor Pond. Who the fuck is Shamor Pond? I don't know, but he's the number 1 pick. And I didn't want to be irresponsible and at least not mention the number 1 pick of the NBA G League's draft. I'm going to have to
Say
look.
his name again?
Shamor Pond.
This needs to be the Shamor Pond Fan Club podcast, so at least when he blows up, we can say we right up in the ground floor.
We may start doing that. We're going to keep an eye on him, figure out who the hell he is, and we're going to talk about all of the shit that
he does. The MyT Sports Podcast, sponsored by Blue Chew and Shamor Pond Fan Club.
You know what? I'm going to reach out to him. You know what? I may make him one of my first people I interview. I'm going to start interviewing G Leaguers.
Get him on the show.
I will. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to reach out to him about being drafted number 1 in the NBA G League and how does it feel and what does it do for him, his family, all that good questions. All those shit that they do for the regular draft pick, the regular number 1 pick, I want to do that for the G League. I am going to start being the official interview. Watch. You guys watch. I just talked that shit into existence. That's going to be my mark. I am going to be the G League guy. I got to find a way to watch free basketball, okay, and travel the world doing that shit.
I want to be with you for the ride, man. People don't realize, like, you can DM athletes and celebrities and shit on Instagram, and like I've done it before, and like I probably have like a 30% success rate.
No, they'll respond. So that's what I said. Like, I'll try. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out everybody that I just mentioned. Actually, I'm gonna reach out to all of them: Shamor Pond, Zaire Wade, Lance Stevenson, LeAngelo Ball, and BJ Taylor. I'm gonna reach out to all 5 of them and see if they'd like to come onto the podcast and do an interview about them. You know what I mean? And talk about being drafted and their journey currently through the G League. Because for some of them, this is their first journey. What's that?
I'd be shocked if you don't get 3 out of 5.
Listen, if I get 3 out of the 5, like I'm probably gonna shit myself a little bit because I'm gonna think I'm gonna be like, oh shit, this really just happened. And then I'm gonna stress myself trying to think of fucking compelling questions to ask these motherfuckers. I don't want to be there.
That's where you gotta like reel me in, man. I'll do it for free, man. Just you and me, we'll come up with some questions together. We'll get it going.
Bet, I appreciate that.
But I think if you get LiAngelo, you just gotta be like, hey, is LeVar free?
Listen, if I get the Ball Boys on here, that's gonna be something different. That podcast is gonna end up blowing up, and then I'm gonna be real nervous because then I might worry about, damn, what if I said in the past that they're gonna find and use against me now? Because I've said a lot of outlandish shit. I hope you guys realize it's only entertainment.
I always liked LeVar Ball. My favorite moment was, if you remember, that when Lonzo got drafted, and he was like, I got another boy. His name's LaMelo. Lonzo got picked 2nd. My boy's going to go 1st overall. And I'm going to wear a hat at the draft that says, I told you so. And he actually did. It was like the COVID Zoom draft, and it was LaMelo and LeVar sitting next to each other, and LeVar's got a hat on that says, I told you so. At that moment, I was like, I like LeVar. LeVar's my guy.
You know what?
You just shoved in all these motherfuckers' faces.
LeVar has, like, I've always kind of liked LeVar because I basically, what people don't realize sometimes, right, is what self-marketing really looks like all the time. There's different ways to market yourself, but there is no better self-marketing than that big braggadocious person. Look what it's done for Muhammad Ali. Look what it did for Don King. Look what it did for Floyd Money Mayweather. There's something
Tupac, Jay-Z.
Yeah, there's a genius behind being that braggadocious and that outlandish, but also still trying to make yourself innocent. Cause he didn't do anything disrespectful. Like, he did what every single parent does. That has an athlete as a kid. If you put a mic in front of them, or if you talk to them, they're gonna talk to you about how good their kid is.
Absolutely.
And that's what he did. Every time there was a camera around, every time there was somebody there, he talked about how good his kids were. Until you wanted to see how good they were, whether you believed him or not. So if he overhyped his kid to get to the number 1 pick, guess what? He didn't have to hire an agent to do that. He just did that for free and kept all that dough. Because that's something else that Money Mayweather was trying to teach us. How to self-market yourself so you don't have to pay that middleman.
He's smarter than me, because my issue was when Lonzo was a rookie, and I'm like, man, he's only giving negative attention to his son, man. Like, it's gonna be tough. Like, everyone's gonna look at Lonzo. Your dad's overshadowing you and all this shit. And that shit didn't last very long. That was maybe half a season, maybe 1 season.
Well, remember,
everyone forgot about that.
There was also a couple of domino effects that happened. Because I feel like he still kind of would have been that way if it wasn't for one particular thing. And I'll tell you about that one thing in a second. But I don't want to say that he just stopped, because he didn't really just stop. He did it in LA. He definitely was doing it in LA. What ended up happening is that he put his foot in his mouth a couple of times. He did. He put his foot in his mouth a couple of times. Where when he went on First Take, he was kind of borderline, if not fully misogynistic to Tamale Karam, Jalen Rose's wife, right?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna bring that up.
So like,
I thought that was overblown.
But what ended up happening is that it was just enough for Magic to have to go to him and be like, "Hey, calm the fuck down a little bit. You're
fall back."
Yeah, because until then, like, listen, I like what you're doing. You kind of stepped on a mini landmine here. Watch how you're maneuvering and taper yourself, and he did, and he was a little bit more calculated. They still had him a couple more places. He still figured out how to maneuver without being so seen and without being so braggadocious. But you still always felt like his presence was there. And then one thing that put me at ease was LaMelo Ball. He said he's always like this. I'm like this is nothing new to me. This is new to you guys. I've grown up with him always being like this, and it's never ever affected me. I learned how to play with him being like this. I'm just like, so you guys feel distracted. You guys but for me, this is how it was growing up in our household. This was routine, everyday life. And when he said that, I was like, I ain't worried about that shit. Yeah, I was like, yeah, me, you're blowing that shit out of proportion. This dude is trying to big up his kids. Like, cause his kids ain't worried. Now,
and
he was a little overbearing.
He's got 3 sons.
In the
Three
NBA.
sons under 25 in the public eye. And aside from that LiAngelo China mistake that years ago, his kids have been pretty clear-cut and have not made mistakes and have stayed out of the...
His kids are jammed. Like, yeah, his
public
kids...
eye in a negative way.
Like, they did that stealing thing that they had an issue for or whatever. I don't remember if it was stealing or it was a mistake or something like that, or misunderstanding, like a tag issue. But I can't remember. But it was that minute. But they pretty much maneuvered well. He got them on. He started their own sneaker line. He's like, you know what? You can't get your own sneaker. I started your own sneaker line. Granted, the sneaker was kind of trash and it kind of blew up in their face. But that just opened another path to get a better sneaker line with actual sneaker company. And who's to say that they don't come back and start this again because they may have learned how he did this wrong the first time? Like, he did nothing wrong. He was an entrepreneur, and he tried to utilize that space and that time and his 15 minutes of fame to maximize not only his son's stardom, but also whatever monetary revenue that he can create for them as well during that time frame. And then, you know what? I can't get you in the league yet. I'll go overseas and we'll buy the team. How the fuck did they buy a team suddenly? That money didn't come out of nowhere. Yeah. That was a process. And calculated. And even when his son's no longer on the team, you know what they have? They have their own team.
I just think about like child stars, like Macaulay Culkin. Like he had his shit, right? Put yourself in LaMelo Ball's shoes for a second. Your older brother gets drafted, 2nd overall. And your daddy's on national TV going, he went 2nd overall, my younger son's going to go 1st overall. The pressure on that 15-year-old kid to be like, I got to get drafted 1st overall, or my dad's going to be made a fool of. And he's never made a mistake. Not everyone likes him. Maybe a little cocky, he might be a little rub people the wrong way sometimes, but he's never done anything egregious. He's kept a decent head on his shoulders.
I feel like that means that they always had a plan, and he outlined the plan to his kids young, and they were in lockstep and they followed it until they became adults. Until they were able to make...
I've done a whole 180 on LeVar, man. I used to not like him, now I respect the fuck out of him.
Yeah, like I said, he may not always have been everybody's flavor, but what he was doing was brilliant. And it gets sometimes your brilliance gets overshadowed by your own actions, and that's what it was. He was put on an illusion. He was being braggadocious on one side, and everybody wasn't paying attention to what was going on with, he was being braggadocious with the left hand, and nobody was really paying attention to what he was really doing with the right hand. And what he was doing with the right hand was basically creating 3 stars to be in the NBA, and because basically all he needs is 2 of them to get that $500 million contract, and he just guaranteed his family's a billionaire.
Generational wealth.
Yeah, he's a genius. Now, something I don't know what to call it, but as it currently stands, there are people outside of the Barclays Center protesting for Kyrie Irving in support of him choosing not to be vaccinated. That's actually all I gotta say about that. I don't know.
I'll give you my thoughts.
I'm gonna tell you this. Kyrie Irving may not realize it. Kyrie Irving's gonna end up being used to push somebody else's agenda.
My thoughts exactly. 90% of those people probably have no idea who Kyrie Irving is.
Exactly. And that's why I feel, because I'm like, I don't think that they're really I'm not sure that some of them know who Kyrie is. I'm pretty sure there's no like, oh, there's a basketball player that he's in Brooklyn. But I really feel like he's gonna end up being like the figure or the scapegoat to help push somebody else's agenda, because I don't know if Kyrie Irving sometimes maneuvers properly. Like, he doesn't, like we talked about LeVar Ball, like his maneuvering, the Kyrie Irving's maneuvers seem a lot more sloppy than LeVar Ball's to me. I understand and even though I can understand what he's like, and that's the thing. I guess I think that they need him on the court, and it's just the anti-vax supporters. So we just end up losing the podbean feed. So you know what that means, folks. We're gonna be coming back to you. We're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna take a commercial, and we're gonna come back to you in just a moment.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world. And they can respond, I became a soldier.
And we are back with the MyT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Untitled. If you're listening, you should listen to the many places that we have provided this podcast for you. Now, before we took a commercial break, we was basically talking about this Kyrie Irving thing. And just to dabble on what I was saying before, because I don't really have a whole lot to say about this. I don't think a lot, and like my boy Benz is saying in the comments, I don't think a lot of people there are even in support of Kyrie. I think they're just against the system. So they're just anti-vaxxers that are there to support a celebrity that's also currently choosing not to be vaccinated. Now, because of Kyrie Irving's past actions and even some of what we call his past beliefs, or some of the stuff that he said to believe in the past, Kyrie Irving's decision normally doesn't come off very well received. But regardless of how received it is, I don't want him to be anybody's puppet. And cause I don't want nobody should be anybody's puppet when you're trying to really figure out shit in your own head, in your own life. Cause that's really what it is. He really is still trying to figure out this vaccination thing. He's trying to wrap it around his own head. He's trying to really apply it to his own life, and trying to go through the pros and the cons. Everybody needs a little bit more time. Everybody needs different time to weigh all the pros and cons. I'm not going to keep scrutinizing him for how long he takes, right? Because I really don't care about how long he takes. What I care about still fully is that every day that you're trying to make up your mind, you are fucking you're fucking your boys that you all came together to go achieve a particular goal. And that's always hard for me. That's still hard for me to understand. If we all come together to complete a goal, no matter what happens, that means no matter what happens, suddenly you can't be like, well, I didn't expect this. I get it. They're still in the realm of no matter what. You and I to the day we die. Forever. So Kyrie Irving, he has protests now. So now, in every Brooklyn Nets game, the Brooklyn Nets every Brooklyn Nets game, the Brooklyn Nets organization now have to worry about protesters that Kyrie Irving is now attracting. He's already attracting reporters as a distraction. He's already can't play as a distraction, and now he has protesters coming as a distraction. Kyrie Irving is a distraction. And if Kyrie Irving...
I'm just waiting for President Trump to come out.
if Kyrie Irving was Lance Stevenson, he wouldn't be in the league anymore. Kyrie Irving, thank God you still got some basketball skills. Thank God that that people still believe that you can play this game of ball at a high level. Because if you were Cam Newton, you may not have this job. Yeah, because Kyrie Irving right now is regardless of what it is, he's always kind of been a distraction, but he right now is the full-blown definition of a distraction. This isn't like something cute with him this is so funny.
People actually thought they were going to let him stay on the team and play 34 games and not practice.
I know that's crazy. Not practice and not play and not play any home games. But think about this.
Can't play in New York or California.
Think about this.
Keep him. He's going to play 34 games.
Kyrie Irving saged an arena, and ever since he saged an arena, he's barely been able to play. It makes you wonder where the back spirit is. If he exercised his own damn self. We're talking about smoke and exorcisms, right? Let's switch topics. Let's switch sports altogether. We got about an hour left, if that. Let's get into some of these NFL games because I'm not going to go local yet. The local teams made me sick. All the local teams made me sick. I don't care if it was the Jets, the Giants, the Heat. Not the Heat. The Dolphins, the Raiders. I'm talking about everybody that roots for a team in here. The Steelers, I don't think the Steelers even play. They all made me sick. But you know what's going on, Miss Hoodie? You know who didn't make me sick? Smoking Joe Burrow. Smoking Joe Burrow he's out here handing out all the smoke.
Your boy KJ laughed at me. I said they were going to start 7-2, and your boy KJ laughed me out of the building.
He did. I said I damn near laughed you out of the building until I had to take a good look. But it was because you know why? He's a Pittsburgh fan. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So what happens when it comes to Cincinnati? He's big broing them. He's little broing them. I mean, so he can't see them having that well of a start because he doesn't even think his own team can start that well. Don't talk about my Ravens.
Only 5-2, they're not 7-2, but I want a bit of respect there. I'm the only dude that anybody knows that said they're going to start 7-2.
Bands,
they're almost there.
Bands. It has. I'm gonna talk about your Ravens a little bit, but just know how much I love the Ravens. I have no reason whatsoever to ever bet against the Ravens in the regular season. I have that much faith in Lamar Jackson. What I didn't know that was Joe Burrow was a walking smoke machine, and he just walks around handing out smoke like a free drug dealer. Like you remember Mr. Happy in Half Baked, like how he was handing out free joints like that's Joe Burrow. He's just out here handing out the smoke. He don't care who you are, what you've done. He's rallying his team. You knock him out the game, he's coming back in. I've called him Smoking Joe Burrow since he did that shit in college. And this year, he is on his Jim Carrey shit. We're talking mask on. He is smoking. And I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised. I didn't fully see. Now, SB, what made you even see this coming? What made you see any of this coming?
The defense looked a lot better than anyone was giving it credit for, and their schedule, to be fair, has been not exactly the strongest. I had them 5-1 before the season. I thought they were going to lose to the Ravens yesterday.